Hello and welcome back to Ivy Astrology, everyone. I'm so glad you're here because we need to talk about March 2026. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this is one of the most important months of the year. Why? Well, let's see. If February 2026 was the earthquake, March 2026 is when you survey the new landscape and decide what to build. Last month, we experienced the seismic shift, Saturn entering Aries for the first time in 29 years, the solar eclipse in Aquarius, and that once in 166 years Saturn-Neptune conjunction. February shattered the old structures, it broke things apart. And if you're sitting there right now feeling like your life looks completely different than it did 2 months ago, that's exactly what was supposed to happen. But here is the thing. March is where it all starts to make sense. I'm calling March 2026 the Great Threshold. And here's why. We are standing at the exact doorway between the old zodiac and the new. Pisces, the 12th and final sign, represents endings, dissolution, spiritual completion. Aries, the first sign, represents beginnings, initiation, courageous action. And in March, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and even the Cazimi activations all cross this Pisces to Aries threshold. Meanwhile, Saturn and Neptune are already there in Aries, waiting for you on the other side of that door. This is powerful. Now, I will walk you through the 7 extraordinary things happening in March. 7 in 1 month. That's how loaded this is. So, let's dive in. Okay, so number 1. The total lunar eclipse blood moon in Virgo on March 3rd, 2026. This is the final total lunar eclipse until December 31st, 2028. So let that sink in. We won't see another one for nearly 3 years. This eclipse falls on the North Node in Virgo, and what that means is a release. Whatever you've been clinging to out of anxiety, perfectionism, or habit, the job that's fine but not fulfilling, the health anxiety, the need to have everything figured out before you start, this eclipse pulls it from your hands. And that release, it creates space for everything else March has to offer. Number 2. We have 3 Cazimis in 1 month. Now, the Cazimi is when a planet comes within 17 arc minutes of the sun, literally in the heart of the sun. The planet gets purified, renewed, blessed. Having 1 Cazimi in 1 month, it's a notable event. Having 3, well, that's exceptionally rare. Mercury, Cazimi on March 7th. This represents a flash of mental clarity right in the middle of Mercury retrograde. Think of it as a divine download cutting through all the fog. And then on March 22nd, we have Neptune Cazimi. So you cannot see it, it's right here where the sun is. The sun illuminates Neptune's brand new vision in Aries. Your spiritual warrior nature gets activated and blessed. And then finally, March 25th, 2026, we have Saturn Cazimi. The sun validates the new structures that you're courageously building. Discipline meets divine timing. So mark those 3 dates, March 7th, 22nd, and 25th. Pay close attention to what comes to you. Now, number 3, Jupiter stations direct in Cancer, March 10th, 11th. Now, Jupiter has been retrograde since November. 4 months of internal emotional review, quiet inner expansion, family reevaluation. When Jupiter stations direct, all of that internal growth starts to manifest externally. Emotional breakthroughs become real world blessings. The family healing, the sense of emotional security you've been cultivating internally, it starts showing up in your actual life. And when Mars trines Jupiter on March 21st, well, that's action meeting blessing. That's a window that you really want to use. All right, now number 4, Venus walks through the Saturn-Neptune conjunction zone, March 6th through 8th. Venus, the planet of love, relationships, values, and money, enters Aries on March 6th and immediately conjuncts Neptune, then Saturn within 48 hours. She walks directly through the most powerful astrological zone of 2026. What does that mean? Relationships formed or transformed between March 6th and 8th carry the DNA of that 166-year Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Love that begins here isn't casual. It's spiritually fated and practically grounded. And your values, what you spend money on, what you find beautiful, what you're attracted to, all of it recalibrates to match the new paradigm. Number 5. Mars is conjunct the North Node of Destiny in Pisces, March 12th, 13th at 8 degrees. This is a major destiny activation. Mars, the planet of action and courage, meets the North Node at 8 degrees Pisces. In Pisces, this is the spiritual warrior archetype. You feel a powerful pull to act on something spiritual, creative, or compassionate. This isn't aggressive energy, it's surrendered courage. You take a leap of faith. You create art from pain. You serve a cause greater than yourself. You forgive someone, because that is the courageous act. Number 6, the spring equinox and Mercury turn in direct on the same day, March 20th. So I need to hear this. The astrological new year, the most significant equinox in generations, happens on the exact same day that Mercury ends its retrograde and goes direct. After weeks of retrograde fog, confusion, and revision, mental clarity returns precisely at the astrological new year. That is an unmistakable cosmic green light. And remember, Saturn and Neptune are already in Aries, waiting there at the threshold. So whatever you begin around March 20th has the full cosmic backing of Saturn's discipline, Neptune's vision, and the Sun's identity, all in the first degrees of Aries. So set your intentions, launch your projects, Make your declarations. Step into who you are becoming. And finally, number 7, we have a beautiful sextile. Saturn will sextile Pluto. This is at 5 degrees. The sextile, because it's between 2 outer planets, you can start feeling this extremely early, from February, really, maybe end of February. But this is a new major outer planet aspect that signals the beginning of a harmonious relationships between Saturn in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius. Structure meets transformation. Personal courage serves collective evolution. The changes you're making aren't just personal, they are plugging into something much, much bigger. Leadership that serves the people. Innovation that creates a lasting structure. Personal empowerment that uplifts communities. Now, one crucial thing I need to emphasize. March marks the completion of the eclipse season, because we have the eclipse in at the beginning of March. So we've been in eclipse season since January 13th. We had the lunar eclipse in Leo that was illuminating self-expression. Then February 17th, last month, we had a solar eclipse in Aquarius that represented fated community and technology shifts. And now, on March 3rd, we have the total lunar eclipse in Virgo. This is the final eclipse, the great release. This is also the last total lunar eclipse until the very last day of 2028. So whatever is released during this blood moon, it's released permanently. The South Node in Virgo demands you let go of perfection, over-analysis, and anxiety-driven control. The North Node in Pisces calls you toward faith, surrender, creative flow, and spiritual trust. So, here's what I love about March. It has a beautiful, clear 4-act structure. It's like the cosmos wrote a screenplay for your transformation. Act 1, it's about a release and clarity. So March 1st through March 7th, the first week of March, the total lunar eclipse releases what no longer serves you. Mars enters Pisces, shifting your actions from logic to intuition. You're operating on faith now. Venus enters Aries and walks through the Saturn-Neptune conjunction zone, transforming your values and relationships. And Mercury's Cazimi delivers that flash of clarity in the fog. Then we have Act 2, Activation and Destiny. This is March 8th through March 14th. So, we have Venus conjunct Saturn, grounding relationships in mature commitment. We have Jupiter retrograde, but it's turning direct on the 10th of March, releasing 4 months of internal growth into the external world. And then we have Mars conjunct the North Node, triggering that major destiny activation. Courageous action aligned with your soul's path. Then we have Act 3 during the 3rd week of March. Rebirth and green light, March 15th through March 21st. We have a new moon in Pisces at 28 degrees, plant seeds at the very end of the zodiac, intentions that bridge the old world and the new. Then on March 20th, we have the sun entering Aries, and Mercury stations direct the same day. This is the cosmic green light. And Mars joins Jupiter the very next day. This is the cosmic green light, like I said. And with Mars trining Jupiter on the 21st of March, we are going to see action that needs blessings from Jupiter. This is when you start building. And then the fourth act, for the final week of March, we have solar blessing and new power. That is March 22nd through March 28th. So we have the sun, Cazimi, Neptune, and then Saturn, illuminating and blessing both planets in their new Aries mission. Your spiritual vision and your discipline structures receive solar validation. Then Saturn will sextile Pluto, activating a new harmonious cycle between personal courage and collective transformation. And the month ends with momentum, clarity, and power. So let me bring it all together for you. March 2026 is the month where the new world is born. And you receive the cosmic green light to step through the threshold. The eclipse releases your grip on the past. The Cazimis bless your future. Mercury direct clears your mind. Jupiter direct expands your blessings. And the equinox marks the true beginning of the most transformative era any of us have lived through. So in the rest of this video, I'm going to break down every single one of these transits except for the eclipse, which I am going to cover in a separate video. But I will go through everything that I've just said week by week, and then for each week I will give you the sign by sign breakdown so you know exactly where this is hitting your chart. Whether you're an Aries or Pisces or anything in between, I've got you covered. So if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because you do not want to miss these weekly breakdowns. And drop a comment below telling me, what are you ready to release this March and what are you ready to step into? So now let's dive in. So week 1, March 1st to March 7th. It's about release and clarity. Because week 1 is dominated by the total lunar eclipse on March 3rd, which I will cover in a different video, a separate one, and Venus crossing the Saturn-Neptune threshold on March 6th. We have Mars entering Pisces on March 2nd, shifting the energy of action from intellectual Aquarius to intuitive, faith-based Pisces. And then we have Mercury's Cazimi on March 7th that delivers a flash of divine clarity in the middle of a retrograde fog. So on March 2nd, when Mars enters Pisces, Mars, the planet of action, drive, and courage, moving from intellectual, group-oriented Aquarius into mystical, intuitive Pisces. So in Pisces, Mars doesn't charge forward with a battle plan. It just moves with the current, acts from compassion, and fights for what's sacred rather than what's strategic. So Mars in Pisces from up until mid-April, this is where you can see your actions becoming more intuitive and less calculated. You are drawn to create maybe creative work, spiritual practice, and compassionate service. You have to be careful though about, maybe it could create also some sort of passivity or maybe escapism. Mars in Pisces can lose its edge if it mistakes avoidance with surrender. Then we have Venus entering Aries and conjunct Neptune on March 6th. Here. So Venus crosses from Pisces into Aries, from the last sign of the zodiac to the first, and immediately meets Neptune at 1 degree Aries. This is love, beauty, and values walking directly through the most powerful spiritual manifestation point of 2026. Venus conjuncts Neptune in Aries, so this isn't passive Pisces romance. This is spirituality activated, Aries love, bold declarations of affection, artistic expression that's both visionary and courageous, beauty that inspires action, financial decisions aligned with spiritual values. Now, just kind of like on a warning side, Venus-Neptune can also mean a romantic disillusion, financial fantasy, and seeing people or situations through rose-colored glasses. So with Mercury still retrograde, double check financial commitments and don't confuse infatuation with spiritual connection. And then on the next day, March 7th, we have Mercury, Cazimi at 17 degrees Pisces. This is the first of the three Cazimis. Mercury, still retrograde, meets the Sun at 17 degrees Pisces. For a brief window, Mercury is in the heart of the Sun, purified of a retrograde confusion. This is a moment of crystalline mental clarity in an ocean of Pisces fog. So what you can expect an insight or a message, a dream or conversation that changes your perspective. Something you've been confused about suddenly makes sense. A past situation reveals its hidden purpose. An old contract reaches out with information that you needed. So write down whatever comes to you on March 7th. Journal. Pay attention to dreams the night before. A conversation or realization on this day contains seeds of understanding that will bloom when Mercury goes direct on March 20th. So let's go sign by sign for week 1 of March 2026. March 2nd. Your drive goes underground now, Aries. Mars in your 12th house channels your energy towards inner work, spiritual practice, and processing buried anger or grief. This is a powerful time for therapy, meditation, retreats, or creative work done in solitude. But watch for passive-aggressive tendencies or self-sabotage when you refuse to acknowledge what's simmering beneath the surface. March 6th, you are the main character of this cosmic love story between Venus and Neptune, Aries. Venus conjunct Neptune right on your ascendant makes you absolutely radiant, ascendant, sun, or moon sign. People are drawn to you like moths to a flame, seeing in you whatever they most desire. So this is extraordinary. First, for first impressions, artistic self-expression, or boldly declaring your feelings to someone. But be honest with yourself about whether the attention you are receiving is based on who you truly are or a glamorous illusion that you're just projecting. Enjoy the magic, but stay grounded in your actual values. And March 7th, with Mercury Cazimi in your 12th house, well, this is a flash of insight that illuminates your hidden world. The Mercury Cazimi in your 12th house pierces through the retrograde fog to reveal something that your subconscious has been trying to tell you. Perhaps through a vivid dream, a therapy breakthrough, or a sudden understanding of a self-sabotaging pattern. Secrets may come to light, and old anxieties may suddenly make sense in a larger spiritual context. Write down whatever comes through today. This clarity is brief, but the wisdom is lasting. Now, Taurus, your ambitions get a compassionate makeover with Mars in your 11th house, which drives you to fight for collective causes, rally your friend group around a shared vision, or pour energy into humanitarian projects. You may feel called to volunteer, organize community events, or champion a friend in need. Just be careful not to exhaust yourself playing savior for everyone in your circle. That's March 2nd for you. Apologies. With Mars just entering your 11th house in Pisces. But then, on March 6th, we have Venus entering Aries and conjunct Neptune. So, a secret love story or a spiritual love awakening stirs in your hidden 12th house, Taurus. Venus conjunct Neptune here can manifest as a clandestine attraction, a past lover resurfacing in dreams, or a profound experience of divine love through meditation or prayer. This is one of the most creatively inspired placements for behind-the-scenes artistic work, composing music, writing poetry, or creating something beautiful in solitude. Just beware of pining for someone unavailable or romanticizing suffering. And then we have March 7th. That can bring a moment of crystal clarity about your long-term vision. The Mercury Cazimi in your 11th house could bring a pivotal conversation with a friend, a brilliant idea for a group project, or a sudden realization about which community truly supports your growth and which one drains you. A friend from the past may reach out with information that changes your perspective. Use this flash of insight to refine your goals, for the year ahead. The fog will return, but this truth will remain. Now for Gemini. On March 2nd, Mars leaves Aquarius and enters Pisces and that is your 10th house. So your professional energy becomes more intuitive and creatively driven now, Gemini. Mars in your 10th house pushes you towards career moves guided by faith rather than pure logic. Think launching an artistic project, stepping into a healing profession, or leading with empathy at work. The danger is appearing unfocused or wishy-washy to authority figures, so anchor your vision with concrete action steps. March 6th, your social world gets a dreamy and idealistic glow, Gemini. Venus conjunct Neptune in your 11th house could bring a soul level connection with a friend, a romantic spark with your community or online network. Sorry, not with, but within. Or an inspiring vision of how you want to contribute to the world. Group creative projects and charitable fundraisers are especially blessed now. The caution is putting a friend on a pedestal or getting swept up in a group's promises without verifying the details. And then the next day, March 7th, your ruling planet, Mercury, gets illuminated by the sun in your career house. So pay close attention, Gemini. This Cazimi could bring a crucial professional insight, a message from a boss or client that reframes everything, or a sudden knowing about your true vocational calling. If you've been confused about a career direction during the retrograde, today the path forward becomes momentarily visible. So speak up in meetings, send that important email, or pitch that idea. Your words carry unusual authority and clarity right now. For Cancer, your quest for meaning takes on a deeply spiritual flavor, Cancer. Mars in your 9th house ignites passion for philosophical exploration, sacred travel, or diving into mystical teachings that expand your worldview. So you might sign up for a meditation course, plan a pilgrimage, or passionately defend a spiritual belief. Just ensure your convictions come from genuine wisdom rather than escapist fantasy. March 6th, your professional reputation takes on an enchanting, almost glamorous quality, Cancer. Venus conjunct Neptune in your 10th house means the public sees you through rose-colored glasses. This is ideal for branding, public appearances, launching a creative business, or receiving recognition for compassionate leadership. A mentor or authority figure may offer a dreamy opportunity. Just make sure any career offer you receive during this time has real substance behind the beautiful packaging. And then the next day, a philosophical or spiritual aha moment lands in your lap, Cancer. The Mercury Cazimi in your 9th house might manifest as a book passage that stops you cold, a teacher's words that suddenly click, or a travel-related plan that finally makes sense after weeks of confusion. If you've been questioning your beliefs or struggling with a legal or academic matter, this is the day the fog lifts just enough to see the truth. Trust what resonates in your gut. It's your inner wisdom breaking through. Now, Leo, March 2nd. Deep emotional waters call you in. Mars is in your 8th house and intensifies desires around shared resources, finances, sexual intimacy, and psychological transformation. You may feel driven to renegotiate a joint account, deepen trust with a partner through vulnerability, or maybe finally confront the fear that you've been avoiding. Be mindful of power dynamics in financial entanglements and avoid money based on pity rather than practicality. On March 6th, love and beauty merge with your search for meaning, Leo. Venus conjunct Neptune in your 9th house could spark romance while traveling, or an infatuation with a teacher or spiritual guide, or a deep aesthetic appreciation for a foreign culture's art and music. This is gorgeous energy for publishing creative work, studying sacred art, or booking a trip to somewhere that feeds the soul. The risk is falling for a guru or philosophy that sounds transcendent, but lacks integrity. And on March 7th, a hidden financial or emotional truth surfaces with startling clarity. The Mercury Cazimi in your 8th house could reveal the real numbers behind a shared account, an insurance payout, a tax situation, or an inheritance matter that's been murky. On the emotional level, you might finally understand the partner's deepest motivation or see a psychological pattern that's been running your life from the shadows. This is potent energy for honest conversations about money, sex, or power. The sun literally burns away the illusion. Now, Virgo, your relationship energy softens dramatically. March 2nd, when Mars is in your 7th house, moves in your 7th house. It means you are now attracted to compassionate, artistic, or spiritually minded partners. Or your existing partner may need you to lead with empathy rather than critique. This is beautiful for couples counseling, renewing vows with the deeper meaning, or collaborating on a creative project together. But guard against losing yourself in someone else's drama or staying in a situation out of martyrdom. March 6th, love goes to the deepest, most vulnerable place possible, Virgo. Venus conjunct Neptune in your 8th house dissolves emotional walls in intimate relationships, allowing for profoundly spiritual sexual connection, soul-bearing conversations, or a spiritual gift that feels divinely timed. This is powerful for couples doing tantric work, therapeutic healing, or merging resources with a trusted partner. Be very cautious about financial agreements made under this spell. The boundaries around yours and mine are dangerously blurry during this day. But March 7th, your ruling planet, Mercury, gets a solar spotlight in your relationships house. This is significant, Virgo. The Cazimi could bring a pivotal conversation with a partner, a contract or agreement that suddenly becomes clear after retrograde delays, or a flash of understanding about what you truly need from a committed relationship. If an ex has resurfaced during this retrograde, today may be when you see the situation for exactly what it is. Trust the clarity that arrives. It's the most honest your partnership sector will feel all month. Now, for Libras. Your daily grind needs a spiritual infusion, Libra. Mars entering your 6th house on the 2nd of March drives you to incorporate healing practices into your routine. Think yoga, swimming, energy work, or an intuitive eating approach. At work, you will thrive in service-oriented roles or tasks that feel meaningful, but you may struggle with motivation or mundane assignments that feel soulless. So find ways to bring intention even to the ordinary. But then on March 6th, your ruling planet, Venus, meets Neptune in your house of committed relationships. This is peak romantic fantasy, Libra. You may meet someone who feels like a soulmate, renew your devotion to an existing partner through a deeply spiritual experience, or attract a collective collaborator who shares your artistic vision. Wedding proposals, vow renewals, and partnership declarations carry on otherworldly beauty right now. The classic warning applies doubly to you. Make sure you're seeing your partner as they actually are, not as you wish them to be. And on the next day, March 7th, a work or health matter that's been frustratingly unclear finally comes into focus, Libra. The Mercury Cazimi in your 6th house might bring a diagnosis that explains mysterious symptoms, or a work project that suddenly unstalls, or a clear realization about which daily habits are serving you and which are holding you back. If you've been waiting on test results, a work email, or a scheduling confirmation, it's likely to arrive today with surprising clarity. Act on the inside quickly. Reorganize your routine while you can see clearly. Now, for you, Scorpio, March 2nd. Your creative and romantic life gets a mystical upgrade. Mars in your 5th house floods you with artistic inspiration. Music, painting, poetry, dance, or any medium that channels emotion into beauty. Romantic encounters feel fated and spiritually charged, and if you have children, you may feel especially protective and intuitively connected to them. The caution is idealizing a love interest or creative project beyond what reality can actually. Now, for Sagittarius. March 2nd. It's when your energy turns inward toward your private world. Mars is in your 4th house and it motivates home improvements with a soulful touch, creating a meditation space, redecorating to feel more peaceful, or addressing old family dynamics that need compassionate resolution. You may feel unusually emotional about your roots or ancestry, and this is an excellent time to heal family wounds but avoid sweeping resentments under the rug in the name of keeping the peace. So you should be avoiding that. I'll try to. But then on March 6th, this is one of the most magically romantic places in or days in your in the week, Sagittarius. Venus conjunct Neptune. Venus conjunct Neptune in your 5th house turns your love life into a fairy tale. New romances feel destined. Creative projects channel divine inspiration. And your inner child is wide open to wonder and play. If you have children, you may share a transcendently beautiful moment with them. The danger is obvious, but worth stating. Fairy tales aren't real life, so enjoy the enchantment without making permanent decisions based on temporary magic. And March 7th, a truth about your home life, family, or inner foundation becomes undeniable, Sagittarius. The Mercury Cazimi in your 4th house could bring an important conversation with a parent or family member, clarity on a housing decision that's been in limbo, or a deep emotional realization about childhood patterns that have been running your adult life. If you've been searching for a home, negotiating a lease, or dealing with a family dispute during the retrograde, today is when the essential truth of the matter is revealed. So listen carefully. This is your roots speaking. Now, Capricorn, March 2nd. Your words carry emotional depth and intuitive power this day, Capricorn. Mars in your 3rd house drives you to communicate with compassion right from the heart, or pursue studies in subjects like philosophy, spirituality, or the arts. Conversations with siblings or neighbors may become more emotionally charged, so use this energy to say what you've always felt but never expressed, while being careful not to blur facts with feelings. March 6th, your private world becomes a sanctuary of beauty and spiritual connection. Venus conjunct Neptune in your 4th house inspires you to transform your living space into something that nourishes your soul. Soft lighting, sacred objects, art on the walls, music filling the rooms. Family relationships soften, and old grudges may dissolve through forgiveness. A parent or family member may need your compassion. Be careful about real estate decisions made under this dreamy influence. Get an inspection before you fall in love with the house, basically. And March 7th, your mind lights up like a beacon cutting through the fog, Capricorn. The Mercury Cazimi in your 3rd house delivers mental clarity at its finest. The perfect words for a difficult conversation, a brilliant idea for a writing project, or a message from a sibling or neighbor that reframes your perspective entirely. If you've been waiting to sign a contract, make a phone call, or send an important message, this is your green light. Short trips planned today may lead to unexpectedly meaningful encounters. Say what needs to be said. Your communication is divinely guided. Aquarius, March 2nd. Your financial drive takes on a more intuitive, values-aligned direction to stay. Mars is in your or enters your second house and pushes you to earn money through creative, healing, or spiritually meaningful work. You might monetize an artistic skill, invest in something you believe in ethically, or reassess what wealth truly means to you. The warning here is financial fog. So avoid impulsive spending on things that feel good in the moment but drain your resources, and double check the fine print on any deal. March 6th, your words become poetry and your thoughts turn to beauty. Aquarius, Venus conjunct Neptune in your third house is exquisite for writing love letters, composing music, journaling your dreams, or having conversations that touch the soul. A sibling or neighbor might share something deeply moving with you. Short trips could lead to unexpectedly romantic or spiritually meaningful encounters. The downside is mental fog, miscommunications, misread texts, and hearing what you want to hear rather than what was actually said. Finally, March 7th. A financial truth you've been avoiding or couldn't see suddenly becomes obvious. The Mercury Cazimi in your second house may bring clarity about your budget, a freelance rate negotiation, an invoice that finally gets resolved, or a profound realization about your relationship with money and self-worth. If you've been undercharging, overspending, or unclear about a financial agreement, the sun illuminates the real numbers today. Use this brief window of clarity to make one concrete financial decision you've been putting off. Now, Pisces, March 2nd. This is your transit. Mars enters your sign. Lands directly on your rising sign, moon sign, or sun sign. But what this means is it's basically supercharging your personal magnetism and motivation. You will feel a surge of energy to assert yourself, start new projects, or take bold action on something you've been dreaming about. Your physical vitality increases and others notice your presence more than usual. The key is channeling this fire productively. Pursue your creative vision with confidence, but don't let Piscean passivity turn this warrior energy into action, anxious, overwhelm, or escapist behavior. March 6th, your relationship with money and self-worth gets a spiritual upgrade, Pisces. Venus conjunct Neptune in your second house helps you attract abundance through faith, creativity, and alignment with your deepest values. Income from artistic work, gifts from generous souls, or a sudden realization of your own inherent worth. You might spend lavishly on something beautiful or donate generously to a cause that moves you. The risk is financial illusion. So, impulse purchases that feel meant to be, or, unclear pricing, or undervaluing your work because it feels wrong to charge for something sacred. But then, March 7th, the sun illuminates Mercury right on your ascendant sun or moon. This is your moment of divine clarity, Pisces. While the retrograde has been especially disorienting in your own sign, this Cazimi is like a lighthouse beam, cutting through your personal fog. You may suddenly see yourself clearly, your purpose, your next step, your authentic self beneath all the projections others place on you. So speak your truth today. Write in your journal. Record the voice memo about who you really are and what you truly want. This is the most important Cazimi of the year for you. The insight that arrives, it's a seed for your entire next chapter. So this was week 1, March 2026 astrological forecast. Now, everything I just described are the general energies, and they're powerful. But here's the thing. Understanding the general energies is one level. Understanding how they activate your specific chart, that is life-changing. That's where astrology becomes practical guidance for your actual life. So on the Ivy Astrology website, link in the description below, I have created 3 interconnected calendars that show you exactly how these March 2026 transits are affecting your personal chart. If you go on the website, go onto the home page, then go onto the personal activation. You can create a profile there specific to your date of birth and location, and you can get access then free weekly access to these 3 interconnected calendars. Now, the first one here, the Cosmic Personal Events Calendar, shows you which houses these transits are activating in your chart. So, for example, the eclipse in Virgo hits a specific life area in your chart. Jupiter going direct in Cancer is blessing a particular domain in your life. This calendar shows you where these energies are working for you. So for this person here, we have the lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd at 13 degrees Virgo, activating their 2nd house. You go in here, you read about the overall meaning of this aspect being in the 2nd house. Now, the other calendar is the personal cosmic activation calendar. This is something really, really special. When a major transit to transit aspect happens or forms in the sky, like Saturn sextile Pluto for this week, on March 28th, for example, or Mars trine Jupiter on March 21st, this calendar checks whether your natal planets are connected to that configuration. So if I look here, let's take a very common one, for example, let's see, because I'm not sure this person has something specific, but let's have a look at Saturn Saturn conjunct Neptune. This person has an activation by its natal Uranus. And mainly it says here that Uranus, which is in the fifth house, is trining this Saturn conjunct Neptune aspect currently in the sky. Right, so for example, again, as when Saturn sextiles Pluto at 5 degrees Aries and Aquarius, do you have a natal planet at 5 degrees of a fire sign or air sign? If so, you are personally wired into that collective transformation. It is not just a background energy for you, it's hitting your chart directly. So this calendar reveals which collective transits are also speaking directly to your birth chart. Definitely worth looking in and then visiting. Now, the third calendar that I have is the personal cosmic active, the personal transit calendar. This is your most detailed tool. This is where you can see when transiting planets aspect your natal planets throughout the week, the month, the year. These calendars can actually be activated for longer than a week, which they are currently active for everyone. This is invaluable for planning important events around powerful aspects like Mars trine Jupiter, or knowing when to be extra careful during Mercury retrograde miscommunications. So here's, let's have a look. You go into this and you can see, okay, for this person here, it had their natal Jupiter, for example, is trining the transiting Pluto, and you have here the degrees and the warp to which this happens. You have a short interpretation of what it means, the transit activation, the frequency of the aspect and the timing of it, how it can manifest, and a list of possible manifestation or how you might experience this. This is absolutely personal to you. Only your natal Jupiter can be at that whatever degrees and angles to those planets. It is not, it cannot, it does not match anyone else's. Now, this is what you need to know about access. All three calendars have a free weekly view, so you can try them right now, no commitment. But here's the important part. There are launch pricing that end March 31st, 2026. After that date, all calendar prices will double for everyone who has a for everyone who is creating a profile at the moment. They will have, regardless, and at any time you can come and create a profile and you will have free weekly view of these first two calendars. But what you can also do is request a monthly or an annual view of those calendars. And for those, there are launch pricing. There is a launch price at the moment. And after March 31st, all calendar prices will double. Only for those who have not bought them yet, obviously, not for people who get them. And also, the most important thing is that if you get your monthly or annual calendar now, you keep that price forever. So it will be, if you get an annual one, whatever the price is for the annual calendar, you're going to get the same price next year and next year and next year if you want, only if you want to get another one for the next year. So basically, you get a price lock guarantee if you purchase monthly or yearly access now. And plus, you will benefit from every future upgrade to these calendars. And one more thing that I want to mention, the homepage on IV Astrology. Every single day, the homepage shows you the daily transits and aspects that are active right now, along with their general meaning. So click into this and you will see the general meaning and a list of possible general predictions. And here's why that matters. In a monthly or weekly video like this one, I can cover the major transits, the eclipses, the Cazimis, the station directs, but there are aspects happening every day that I simply cannot fit into these videos. A moon square to Pluto on a Tuesday, Mercury sextile Uranus on a Thursday. These matter. They affect your mood, your conversations, your decisions, and they often go unnoticed. The homepage gives you that daily awareness. You check in, you see what's active, you read the general meaning, and then once you understand the energy of the day, you head over to the personal activation page to see how the same transit is hitting your chart specifically. There's the 1-2, that's the 1-2 combination. The home page gives you the what, the personal activation page here gives you the where and the how for you personally. So make it a daily habit, check the home page, understand the energy, then go deeper on the personal activation page. That's how you turn astrology from something you watch on YouTube once a week into a living daily guidance system for your life. So visit IV Astrology. The link is in the description below. Explore the homepage, the personal activation tools, and secure your lounge pricing before March 31st. Because understanding what is happening in the cosmos is powerful, but knowing exactly where it's hitting your chart every single day, that's the game changer. Now, if this video resonated with you, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the week 2 breakdown. And drop a comment below. What did the week bring you? I genuinely want to know. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.